Welcome to Parenting Unscripted. I am your host, Katie Collette. A big thank you to Norfolk Public Schools for sponsoring this episode. Joining me today, we have two very special guests. First, we have John Harbin, who is a new dad because this episode is all about the dads. And we have Chris Beach of the Fatherhood Foundation of Virginia. Chris, you have been a guest with us before, so thank you so much for coming on back. And see, John, Chris returned, so it's proof that this is just going to be a lot of fun and you're going to want to come back too, okay? So we're going to have a great time today talking about new dads, specifically the class, New Dads 101, that, John, you participated in this class through Centera, right?
That's right.
Okay, what did you think of the class?
It was a great class. I participated in the class a few days after our first son joined us, and it was about a 3-hour class, and it just went through everything that new dads should expect throughout the pregnancy phase, when you actually have your newborn, and then the weeks and months after.
That's great. I know that you learned so much through it. So we're going to talk to you a lot more about that. But first, I do want to congratulate you because you are a brand new dad. Talk to us about your baby. Was it a boy or a girl?
It was a boy, Henry James Harbin.
Oh, congratulations. When was he born?
April 25th.
What was the moment like when you finally got your baby in your arms?
It's indescribable. That moment that, we first meet him, just pure joy. It was just a magical moment. It's really hard to put into words.
Yeah, it's so special. I know, like that. It really is just indescribable. Yep. How are you and your wife feeling right now?
We're doing well. He's 13 weeks now, so we have started to adjust and learn kind of how to parent, how to dad, how to mom, and he's growing. He's healthy. And we're just enjoying every day.
That's so great. You're going to learn every single year how to parent and how to dad and how to mom.
And because how it changes probably.
It does. It changes with every single phase, every single stage. And my husband likes to say that everything is a phase, no matter what. Age 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you find that, Chris? It feels like everything with kids is a phase.
Oh, it's as you say, that the days are long, but the months are short, and because it just flies by, and everything by far. He's completely right when he says everything is a phase.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chris, the Fatherhood Foundation sponsors these New Dad 101 classes through local hospital systems. And of course, the class that John took was with Centera. So explain to us the purpose of these classes and why the Fatherhood Foundation decided to sponsor them.
Well, when we had our first child, it was basically my wife looked at me when we had the class for couples, and she elbowed me and she said, "Don't ask any stupid questions." So how many did I ask? I asked 0 because guys are afraid to ask questions because they don't want to sound like they don't know what they're talking about in front of mom. So what we decided to do is come up with a class that we can teach the dads where they have that safe space. We call it the Vegas conversation for dads. What's asked in there stays in there. So you can ask those questions and not feel like, oh, that's a stupid question, because there's a dad in that class guaranteed that wants to ask the same thing, but he doesn't want to sound like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And once they start talking, all of a sudden they're like, I had that question too. And then it's a safe space for dads to ask those questions. And that's why we started it.
John, did you find that for you? Did you feel comfortable being able to ask questions in the class without judgment?
For sure. That's one of the first things they kind of start the class off with, is just saying that this is a space where you can ask any question, no matter what it might be about, and to feel free to ask those kinds of questions, because like Chris said, there's a good chance that someone else has the same one.
Absolutely. And the thing about parenting too, and we say this to kids all the time as well, there's no such thing as a silly question, but there really isn't, because you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know so much.
There's so much you don't know. But thank goodness we have classes like this to prepare. And John, before this parenting, this New Dad 101 class, have you ever taken care of a baby? Did you know really anything about taking care of babies?
I changed my first diaper in the hospital after he was born. And so, no, I walked into fatherhood knowing very little besides, what I learned from my own dad.
Yeah.
And, we're in 2025 now. Things have changed.
Right.
Dads have a different role than I think they did 30, 40 years ago. So this class kind of is framed around that and helps dads be better prepared and better able to help around the house, to help mom and just be a better dad.
Yeah, we are going to dive so much deeper into these classes in just a moment because I want to get to every single topic that's discussed in the class, and I know that it's a lot. So we're going to talk a lot more about that on the other side of this break. So everyone just stay with us and we will return.
Whether you're already working in education or aspiring to, then say yes to NPS. Norfolk Public Schools are currently hiring in the following positions. NPS offers the highest salaries and sign-on bonuses in Hampton Roads, plus a work lifestyle you'll love. Say yes to NPS.
Welcome back to Parenting Unscripted. I am your host, Katie Collette, and today I'm joined by two guests. We're talking New Dad 101 with John Harbin and Chris Beach. John is our new dad. Chris Beach is the more seasoned dad of the group. He is the head of the Fatherhood Foundation of Virginia. We're talking about New Dad 101 classes. John, you took one at Centera. So Chris, one of the benefits of this class is that you are talking with real dads about what is going on rather than maybe a healthcare professional who either doesn't have children or is really talking more from a clinical standpoint. What do you think is the benefit of that for dads?
Well, bottom line, if you go to most of the whether it's at a medical hospital or whether it's social work, a lot of women work in those services, and there's not a lot of men in those services. So this is an opportunity for dads to talk to other dads, and they're volunteers. These are real dads. They're just volunteers that come out and teach the class and really enjoy doing it. They love doing it because they feel like they're giving back and really helping the other dads. We start the other class, all of our classes off with there's no such thing as a perfect dad. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as dumb question. The most important relationship you show your children is the one with mom. So we start with that and we build from there. So these are just real conversations that you're going to have with mom, that you're going to have with other people as you get ready to be a dad.
And there are a lot of topics discussed. When I was so impressed when I was looking. So caring for crying babies and crying moms, which that made me chuckle because I don't think I ever cried more than when I became a mom. And I still cry at random things now. Handling your work on no sleep, financing a growing family, dealing with your in-laws. So you all really dive into so many things. It's quite a range. Chris, to come up with the curriculum for this class, did the Fatherhood Foundation play a role in that? Or did you kind of let, some of the parenting professionals figure that out, and then you chatted with them about what your vision was?
Well, I just think that's an oxymoron on a parenting professional.
Right, true.
Because I don't think there's a perfect parenting professional out there.
Yeah.
It's what works for your children. No, when we got a bunch of our dads together who had been taking these classes for years at a different curriculum we were using, and we just came together and said, okay, what do the dads really need to know? What's the good stuff from all the curriculum we've taken? Yep. Let's put it all together in one class so we can offer it. And it's not a class, it's not a curriculum, it's a conversation. Mm-hmm. We give them the topics to talk about, but you can take the class with one dad and you can take it with another dad, and it's two completely different classes, but you're getting the same topics.
That absolutely makes sense. So, John, we're going to hit that first topic, caring for crying babies. What are some things that you learned that you've applied to your own child?
Just the fact that you're going to hear a lot of crying, first of all. Yes. And if it's your first kid, you're probably not very used to hearing that, but that's okay. Yeah. And to get, kind of used to that. But just the tips and tricks, the little methods to care for the baby, to help with the crying. We had a lot of that with when Henry came, and we worked through it, soothing him, pacifying him, whatever it might be. We talked through it all.
Was there anything that really surprised you when, on the topic of crying babies and how to soothe or how to try to help?
Yeah, I mean, there's no one size fits all. Right. You have to try everything all of the time and kind of figure out
why they're crying.
What works one day might not work the next day. Yep. So you're always kind of running through the gamut of all your tips and tools to kind of help with the baby with that.
I do love too that one of the topics is also to help crying moms, because it really is from the moment we become pregnant until I've my son is 12 years old today. So 12 years post that, I will still cry. So what did you learn about trying to help your wife with the like crazy hormones that might be causing her to cry? Did they really give you some advice on that?
I mean, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways that I learned from the class. And that's not something that you talk about,
Right.
beforehand, and you don't really know what you're getting into, but it is a lot of hormones, a lot of stuff happening, changing, and the class kind of helps you with that. It helps you how to be there for your wife and your child's son or mom, which has been a blessing in the last 13 weeks for sure, because she really needs my support through what she's doing. A lot of it does fall on the mother those first few weeks and months. So the dad is really there to support mom in a number of different ways.
What are some things you have found that work for you and your wife that you've done to help support her through this time?
Well, I wake up every time the middle of the night when she has to wake up and feed. I'll change the diaper and hand the baby to her. I'll take care of whatever stuff around the house needs to be done. Just all those little things so that there's less stress for her, less tasks around the house for her, and so she can really focus on caring and nursing for the baby.
Man, that's a dream. I hope a lot of dads hear that and understand. And we know that dads need the care too, and they need to be able to have some breathers and feel the love and take breaks. Chris, what do you think, to help out the dads? What are some things that can be done for them as well?
Oh, well, just having the conversations before the baby is born, because I mean, honestly, we have one segment that talks about like, why is mom always yelling at me? Well, the reason she's exhausted, you're exhausted, and the baby won't stop crying. You're the only person there, Dad. Suck it up. It's a stage in life. It's a phase, as you talked about earlier. It's just that phase that she's going to yell at you because you're the only person around. She's not meaning it. She's not mad at you. You're just in that phase where you're both exhausted and you need somebody to talk to. You're the dad. You suck that up because mom's doing most of the work at that time.
Yeah. I mean, I have to, my husband and I get along so well, but there would be moments, especially when our son was a newborn, we were so tired and we would just get so frustrated about something. And then about, like 15 minutes after it was done, we're like, I'm really sorry. I was just really tired. And a lot of it goes back to either us being tired and hungry, which we sound like a newborn as well. So John, I know that one of the other topics, of course, one that's near and dear to my heart is figuring out how to continue your work schedule, even though you are exhausted. What did you learn about doing that? And are you able to actually do that?
It's a day by day sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's no perfect recipe or way to do that. I've been fortunate enough to have some leave through work in order to be home with my wife and son, and I've been able to kind of work through that over the last couple months to kind of be there for the important times, but also tend back to work for work stuff as well, but really just kind of prioritizing family life at this time and as much as you can, and whether that's an hour before you go to work or a couple hours in the evening, whatever works for your situation.
I do love that you say that, though, prioritizing family life at this point, because this is not the time for friends to call you and say, hey, do you want to go out? No. Nope. Going out should really just be going to bed and taking a nap and truly trying to nap when the baby naps if you can.
Yep.
I feel like that is a very real thing. Chris, what do you think when it comes to trying to plan for dads? And I know maybe it's a little different from when you first became a dad to now because work schedules are so much. What do you think when it comes to trying to get on a schedule that works for you as a dad to be able to get rest?
Yeah, that's one of the big things is we say, you have to come up with a schedule that works for both of you. We know you're working and all that stuff, but you want to make sure you're being there supportive. And you know what? There are people at work know you're a new dad,
right? So
they'll work with you too, and they are going to understand that you're going to be tired and all of that kind of stuff. And if you have a supportive business, they'll be there for you. But it's just finding that right balance, like he said. And we always talk about remember. Now you're a family of 3, but you were 2 before you were 3. So make sure you're taking care of mom too, and taking care of the 2 of y'all together, because that's the relationship that's going to, if that blossoms, that is the top priority,
Yeah.
then that child's going to benefit from that.
Absolutely. And there's just always so much learning going on when it comes to parenting. You are constantly, constantly learning. We are going to chat finances and how to figure that out when it comes to daycare and diapers and when you move into food. There's so much to discuss with that. So we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Parenting Unscripted, where we are talking about new dads 101. There is constant learning when it comes to being a parent, and I'm so happy to be talking about it with our new dad, John Harbin, and Chris Beach of the Fatherhood Foundation of Virginia. So, John, we were chatting in the break about the fact that you found out about this class when you were in the hospital after your baby was born. I know that there are a lot of dads who take it before, but you only had just found out about it. What made you decide, you know what, this is a class I want to take?
Yeah, when you're in the hospital, they give you stacks of paperwork, and I'm kind of going through it, looking over some of the things, and I saw a flyer for this course, and I said, well, that looks interesting. I haven't seen anything like this before, and why not sign up for it? There's a QR code, scan it, you sign up over email, and that's it. And so I just thought, what do I have to lose? It can only help.
Absolutely.
And so, that's how.
And thank goodness Centera had that there, because again, there's so much that you're given there, but for that to be able to catch your attention through Centera, that's really awesome. And Chris, we were chatting too about just the benefits of this, being able to talk with current dads, because things have really changed over the years.
Like we talked about, we had our first one 21 years ago and our last one 14 years ago. So when I have new dads in the class, like John, that had the baby after had the baby and then took the class, it was great for him to give a real life experience because things have changed. We talked about like where we had to go for our baby supplies was Babies R Us. Now they can hop on Amazon and get it to their door in a day. And now, and then there's apps for everything where we didn't have the apps for that. We had a box fan to make the noise. So things have changed so much, but that's the beauty of our volunteers and the dads that come back and teach the class for us. They're right in it and they are up to date with everything going on. So it's awesome.
I think it's so great for the new dads to be able, the brand new dads, to talk to the other real dads who are in it to say, yes, this worked for us, or this app was great, or try that. Have you been able to glean any of that from the new dads, John?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in the class, like we said, it's more of a conversation almost. And so when I said, we actually welcomed our first son a couple of days ago, that I think piqued a lot of the other students' interest in it. And so we just talked about what it was like in the last couple days, the days in the hospital. I gave them my tips and tricks, bring a really long USB charging cord because the hospital beds are nowhere close to an outlet. So if you're trying to charge your phone or mom's trying to charge her phone, whatever, just those things that you don't think about. And so I was able to kind of give my firsthand experience with it, recent firsthand experience.
Yeah. And I love too that you and your wife just had your son, and then you were able to go right into that class. And I know those dads were like, okay, wait, so you've been in the hospital room, you went through the delivery, what did you experience? And then of course, little things truly that you don't even think about, like get that super long charging cable, because that is very real. I think hospitals need to figure that out now. Let's get those plugs on the side of the bed so we can charge. All right. One of the things too that we discussed before the break was getting finances ready, because you always hear if you are not financially ready for a baby, then you may never be ready for a baby. But that's not necessarily the case. If you want to have children, there are ways to be financially ready. Is there anything, John, that you and your wife are doing now that you have your baby to, figure out? I don't know if is daycare going to be in your future, that cost?
Absolutely. Daycare is in our future. We're navigating that now. The daycare struggle is real. And we've been, working at that well before Henry was born. And, that is a cost that we've planned for. We knew that was going to be something as a working dad and a working mom. We're not in a position to give up those jobs. So we had to plan for daycare and continuing to kind of navigate that now.
Yeah. With a newborn, where are you finding currently that costs build up a little bit?
Certainly the diapers, certainly,
Yes.
formula, just all the things that go into caring for the baby. I mean, there's thousands of products, figuring out what we really need and what we don't really need. And, friends, family, they often have a lot of these things that they
Yes.
don't need anymore. So secondhand clothes, like
The
that's been
greatest.
worn once. We're all about it, Secondhand stores with baby clothes, great spot. You can go there. My wife loves going there, and she'll walk out like in shock that she spent, $10 or $15 in a bag full of
Absolutely.
the cutest clothes. So
And it's so true. Like when you're getting ready to have your baby, you want everything to be brand new. So you think, and then you have the baby and you're like, wait a minute, everything's just going to get a little messy anyway. And they can still look cute in something that's been worn one or two times by somebody else's baby. I had
Absolutely.
friends we would do parking lot meetups and change garbage bags full of baby clothes. And I don't think that we bought our son much that was new until he was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And we still, to this day, will do garbage bag trade-offs because it just saves you so much money. You just don't need everything to be brand new.
Yeah.
People need to change that mindset, I think, because it really does save you some cash, to say the least. And what do you think about, like when moms and dads have baby showers? One of my favorite things to bring is just like a massive box of the diapers.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's such a big help, don't you think?
So we actually did a diaper party for dad
I love
before the
that.
baby was born. And so mom had the baby shower and got all the stuff that she wanted.
Yeah.
And then dad had a diaper party, and
Genius.
all the guys just brought diapers. It was probably their first time for a lot of them buying diapers, but they did it. And now we are stockpiled all the way through like size 5 or
Yep.
whatever.
It's so important. So important. One of the other topics too in the class, I know Chris, and I'll put this on you because I don't want to put John on the spot when it comes to in-laws. And I'm sure you love your in-laws, John.
They're great.
Very much so. Yes. I know I love mine as well. But why was it important for you to make sure that there was a topic about dealing with your in-laws or handling your in-laws with a new baby?
Bottom line, in-laws are going to be watching the children, and it's your child. You want to raise your child the way you want to raise it. So you were raised differently than your wife was raised, and mom was raised differently than you were raised. So the in-laws are going to have the way they want to raise their child, but it's your child. So we definitely put that in there. But we also know that the top 3 reasons that people get in arguments are: number 1, finances; number 2, intimacy; and number 3, in-laws. So we want to make sure that doesn't become an issue between the couple, because if any arguments happen, we want to make sure you're all in for the child. And then having those conversations with the in-laws saying, hey, this is how we're going to raise our child. This is what we're going to do. If y'all can get on board with this would be awesome. So it's coming from all angles, and you're doing being consistent for your child.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. John, last question, and it goes to you. How rewarding, or what is the most rewarding thing you've experienced so far when it comes to being a new dad?
Oh, man. Well, he's starting to really smile now and interact with us. And when he gives us that smile, it just, all the 2 a.m. wake ups, all the, hunger and tiredness and frustrations, and it just melts away when you see that smile.
That's so true. It just touches your heart in a way you didn't even know it could be touched.
Absolutely.
So, John Harbin, Chris Beach, thank you so much for being on here, and to Centera for having this class. It's so important for dads. So I'm glad that you were all able to join us today. We sincerely appreciate it. And I hope you all were able to glean some important new info from this conversation. Remember, Parenting Unscripted airs every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. And a big thank you to Norfolk Public Schools for sponsoring this episode.